All right. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Today, I welcome you all to another section of our scholarship webinar. And today we're going to be talking about how to apply for the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship in the UK and other funded applications. Our speaker for tonight is no other person than our multiple scholarship and award winner. I call her Hajia, but her name is Miriam Aina Lawal, and she's going to be taking us in tonight's section. So stay tight and just relax, get your writing material because it's going to be an amazing section. Hajia, you're welcome to this section and the floor is now yours. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you for the introduction. Good evening, everyone. My name is Miriam. Don't mind all the FZ that Chijamz was adding. So this night, I'll be talking about how to apply for the Commonwealth probably PhD applications and all. So introducing myself proper, I was a recipient of the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship at the University of the West of Scotland in 2021. So I had my master's degree in biotechnology. So moving further, I think we'll be taking questions at the end of the presentation so we can jot down your questions. So at the end of the presentation, you can ask your questions. So Chijamz, please, the next slide. So to have an overview of what the scholarship really is about, the slide has the link, the official link of the CSC website, and that is where you can find all the information about any scholarship that the CSC is involved in. And this is because the CSC is like, I don't know if we've really heard about, like, the Commonwealth is like a joint intervention between the United Kingdom and Nigeria. So it's like a means of aiding development in the country. So they are expecting scholars, not with the mind of Japan, so to say. So they're expecting you to like bring back the knowledge that you've gained during your studies to come and develop your country. Although everybody has some other plans, but in one way or the other, we're actually contributing to the development. It might not be while we are here, it might be through other means, but we are all contributing to that. And that made me talk about the objectives of the commission, which are to provide world-class scholarship. Trust me, it's really a world-class scholarship because if you see all the financial inclusions, the finances and all the expenses that is covered in the scholarship, you know it's really a world-class scholarship. So, and the scholarship covers so many areas. So it's not only those that are in STEM you can get. If you're having a degree in arts, you're doing accounting, you're doing any other thing that it's not really science related. So it covers everybody. So and the scholarship is actually should I say, I tell people like the scholarship is just CSO will pick you from your house to the United Kingdom. You don't have to pay a dime. You are not paying anything. Any amount you spend will be refunded back to you. So when they say the scholarship is world class, it really is world class. Chijamz, next slide, please. I would appreciate you if you could just help copy that official link of the CSC to the chat box, please. Thank you. So when I'm saying the themes, so the CSC scholarship actually is categorized into 6. So there's different section. We have the science and technology for development. We have promoting global prosperity, strengthening resilience and response to crisis, strengthening health systems and capacity, strengthening global peace, security and governance, access, inclusion and opportunity. So what this scholarship, the CSC development team is about is like all the areas that most of the universities that participate in the Commonwealth scholarship, the courses are grouped into 6. So, for example, I did biotechnology. So my area, my development teams was under science and technology for development. And also this category is actually depending on the university, because sometimes you can see the biotech might be clinical biotechnology. It's still biotech, but it's like an expert of biotechnology. And some school might be having their own biotech under strengthening health systems, because they are talking about clinical biotechnology. So there's no like a clear cut in between. Okay, this is what the area this course is actually belonging specifically to this team. So you can have your interest. Maybe you're involved. You're interested in finance. So I think finance should be under um, access, inclusion, and opportunity. You can have different, like a very wide area of coverage, regardless of your course of study. It's actually covered in this development teams. So one thing I actually advise taking notes is that when you want to apply for the CSC scholarship, so don't say because, oh, I did biochemistry, my team is actually under science and technology. No, you should check the other areas like the development teams and see, because some of the schools actually take their course under another teams. Like it's not fixed. Let me put it like that. It's not fixed. That's okay. When I'm talking about health, public health, for example, might for some university might be under health systems. For some, it might be under promoting global prosperity, because they're trying to improve the health of the people and health. So that's like an overview of the Commonwealth. So all the courses that are offered that are covered within the scholarship are grouped into these 6 teams. And if you're looking at it, you notice that strengthening health system and capacity has a higher percentage of the scholarship. That's from this chart that I have here, has a higher percentage of the scholarship going to that part. So it's actually good to also take note of this when you're applying that. Okay, which part is most of the focus, most of the resources is going into. So you see that this is actually like a major priority. And also the science and technology is like those 2 areas are like very much covered, and they have high number of scholarship going to these areas. Also, Chijamz, the next slide, please. So the CSC scholarship is actually vast. We have the master scholarship, the shared masters, distance learning, the split sites, the professional fellowship, and the PhD scholarship. So I'll be giving an overview, just a brief overview of this. So the master scholarship is actually, CSC use what we call the nominating body. So you have to be nominated by the school or an organization. So for the master scholarship, you have to be nominated by an organization. So it depends on the country where you are being, where you are applying from, determines the nominating body. So for the master scholarship in Nigeria, I think the only nominating body for Nigeria is the Federal Scholarship Board. So those are the board that nominates candidates for the Commonwealth Masters. I don't know if most of us have like we've heard a little about FSB, because like for me, I'm not really so pleased with having the nomination by the FSB. People say long leg things and all. So that's why I think that's why there's the shared masters. So the difference between the masters and the shared masters is just the nominating body. So for the masters, the nominating body is the FSB for Nigeria. While for the shared, the nominating body is the university itself, like the university you intend to apply to. They are the ones to nominate you to CS that, okay, based on the application this person submitted, we think the person is the right candidate for this scholarship. So that's the main difference between the masters and the shared masters. That is the nominating body. So the distance learning is just like the distance learning we know. You take Commonwealth give you finance, but you take the your masters in your own country and the university in your own country. While the split sites PhD is you go to the UK just for your project. That I think it's 12 months duration. So the professional fellowship is like a short course that you take, just the fellowship, you take 3 to 4 months short course, while the CSC sponsors that. So the PhD scholarship is actually a very full package, but the nominating body this time is some institution in Nigeria actually have the ability to nominate candidates for the right place. Next slide. So the main focus of tonight is the shared scholarship. So the like I said earlier, the shared scholarship, the nominating body is the university which you are applying to. So all the university has their own application period. So you have to make sure that you go through the program website, that is the university website of the school you want to apply to. You check the application period. Also, some schools have their own application requirements, like aside you submitting an application to the Commonwealth website, you also have to submit a separate application to the school. And some schools will tell you that, okay, they are submitting within this period to this period. That is when you'll be considered for the scholarship. So you have to make sure you are submitting within that application period to be covered, to be considered for the scholarship. So under the shared website, you have like the full information of everything you need to apply for the scholarship. So I think the mistake most people make is not going through or not having the patience to go through that website to read the information there. So the information on how to apply, and another hint I'll have to give here is like, depending on the school, there's like a number of slots each school gets. So some schools has 3 slots, some school has up to like 7, some have up to 10. So it's just like the higher the number of slots the school has, the higher your chance of getting an admission to that school, and the higher your chance of getting the CSC for this school to nominate you for the Commonwealth scholarship. So when you check the choosing a university / the course, you see the number of slots each school has. So it is advisable you apply to a school that has a high number of slots. And also it is imperative to note that they you can submit as much application as you can. Like there's no restriction on the number of schools that you can apply to. But you have to make sure that as you're applying to the school, you're also submitting an application to the CSC website. So if you're applying to, I think someone's mic is on. Thank you.
So, go ahead.
So if you're applying to 10 schools, you'll be submitting 10 applications on the CSC website. That is an application each for each school you're applying to. So you have to maximize your chance of getting the award. Try to apply to schools that has high number. You check the slots. Some has 10. You can make those ones your priority. So you can apply to schools that has 10, that has 7, that has 6, 5. So this like increase your chance of getting the award. So the instruction says, depending on the application deadline of your choosing university. So even if the school is saying their own deadline is closing before the official CSC deadline, that means you have to submit your application to the school before the deadline CSC is given. The deadline CSC is given is for their own, that, okay, they are giving it to this period for you to submit an application to Commonwealth also. But you have to make sure that you follow the application instruction of the school. So some schools, after submitting your application, they have another set of requirements. Some might tell you to submit another essay aside the one you are using to get the application. So you have to submit that as well. So I think I'm clear on that part. So if you have any question regarding this particular slide, you should jot that. I will be taking it after the presentation. So Chijamz, the next slide, please. Yeah, so this is where we are actually more interested in. So when I said the Commonwealth scholarship is a world-class scholarship, I mean, they are covering everything. So they are covering your flights costs, from your home to the UK, even to your accommodation in your school. And they are paying the tuition fee. You're collecting a monthly stipend, which is always reviewed annually based on inflation. So the price here might not be the same for those that are applying next year. So, you'll be receiving a one-time allowance for buying your clothes, your cardigans, and all. Chijamz, the next slide, please. So aside that, you'll be collecting a travel grant. Yes, there's an event CSC organized, or if you are not attending the event, if you think you want to attend a conference, you are entitled to a travel grant. You'll be given some money for your thesis, that's to carry out your thesis and all. And they'll be paying for your tuberculosis test, because for the UK application, you have to submit a tuberculosis test. So that is also covered. So this, I think the only comma I have here is if scholars have children and are widowed. I think this actually applied mainly to PhD scholars. So they are the ones who actually get this privilege of getting allowance for their child, and their spouse are also covered in the scholarship. But for masters, they believe it's just a year. You can leave your family behind because you're expected to return back. So you are not given an allowance for your family. So that's the difference between the PhD coverage and the master's coverage. So based on disability, they actually cover the funds also to make the scholar comfortable. So the next slide. So what do you need to submit your application? I think this depends on the school. So most schools actually, they request for your transcripts, which is compulsory, and they request for your proof of English. Some you can decide to submit TOEFL, some you can they accept O-level, your WAEC level results as a proof of English, and some will tell you, okay, the proof of English proficiency, English proficiency from your university is okay to show your proof of English. And that is why when you go to the university, like the university websites of the schools you want to apply to, you see what applies to that particular university, what they actually require for you as the proof of English. So the last one I'll be mentioning is your proof of ID, which is your passport. I think this is important because there are some people, they will tell you, oh, I need you to explain how to apply for scholarship. And the next question is, do you have a passport? They're like, no, I don't have a passport. And I'm like, you are not ready. If you are ready, even if you don't have that offer yet, have the faith that this passport I'm getting, I'm actually going to make use of it for the purpose and not for the purpose of ID card only. It's going to serve the purpose of me traveling out of the country. So you really need your passport. Very, very important. And Chijamz, the next slide, I think that will be all. So okay, so let me give based on my experience, I think the most important thing is you have to just read that information, go to the school website, check what is required, go to the CSE website, read through, just calm down to read the information that is provided. It's actually very, very important. And check the program requirements. If the program is saying that, okay, for you to apply to this course, you need to have your BSc in so degree. Make sure you have that degree in that area. If you think, okay, it is related, before they will consider those related degrees, they will consider the priorities that they mentioned in that program. So it is a better chance for you to apply to a program that actually merge with your undergraduate studies. So your SOP or personal statement, yes, that is the most important part of any application. Trust me, the SOP, to me, I would say, is even more important than the essay you are submitting to the CSE website itself, because the SOP is what the school will read to nominate you to CSE. And the most important part is the school nominating you to CSE. Once the school nominates you to CSE, like 70% of it is done. So your SOP is very, very important. Try to get someone to read for you. Very, very important part of the application. So like I said earlier, submit as much as you can to maximize your chance. So if you are able to submit 10 applications, 15 applications, and you are able to apply to 15 schools, it is for the best for you to get a slot. It is very important you do that. So the last part is you notice like the objective of the CS is like trying to aid the SDGs. So it is actually advisable if you are trying to relate your SOP, like the goals you'll be talking about in your SOP, try to relate it to a particular SDG goal. So it's like you're driving a developmental goal, you're focusing on probably SDG 2, 3, or 4, and try to make sure that you are buttressing that in your SOP so they can see that, okay, oh, you have this developmental impacts in your mind, because that is like the main aim of the CS. They want you to drive development. So these are very, very important to consider when preparing your application. So I think that's all for the CSC application. So if you have any question, I think it's time to take questions now. So Chijamz, do we have any question?
Wow, thank you so much, Hajia. This has been a very insightful section, very, very insightful. Hajia, I did not tell you, one of my friends got nominated by Imperial College London. That was
wow,
2 days ago.
that's amazing.
Like, I was so
Wow,
happy for him. I was telling him, bro, you are now a Commonwealth scholar for life.
For life.
For life. Like, that was really amazing. Thank you so much. So, okay, Elijah Oluwasegun is asking, what happens to HND holders? Can they apply? And if they can, how do they apply? Haja, are you there? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you, James. Do we have questions?
Yes. So someone is asking about HND holders. Can they apply for this scholarship, and how can they apply?
Yeah, HND holders can holders, sorry, can actually apply. So that is why I said you have to go through the institution requirement. Go to that check the institution, like the university you want to apply to. Read how they will actually mention if they'll be taking HND holders or not, but I'm very sure they will, because for now they are trying to equivalent the HND to BS. So go to the university website, read the requirements. If possible, if you think they didn't address that question, send an email. They will surely respond to you. So send an email to them to make that inquiry. So you get a response. But I'm very sure HND holders are actually similar to having a BSc. So it's actually very possible to get that.
Oh, thank you so much for that, Hajia. We have another question on the chat. Somebody's saying, Rose Oma is asking, how do you write a good SOP?
Wow. So I'll say the SOP, there's no a one standard way of writing an SOP, to be candid. So you have to make sure, like, when the school is asking you to write an SOP or a personal statement or letter of motivation, whatever way they put it, they will give you an outline. They will tell you what they want you to address in that essay you are submitting. So you try to focus your attention more on the questions they want you to answer in that essay that you are submitting to them. So that is why going through the application requirements on the university website is actually very, very important. So some schools will tell you, they want you to tell them about your background, like they are more interested in your background, for you to prove to them that you are not financially capable of affording the university. Some will tell you their own focus is how your undergraduate degree match what you are applying to. So there is no a one way of writing an SOP. So even if you are giving your SOP to someone to review for you, you have to put the question the university is telling you to address in your letter. And another thing about SOPs, make sure you are keeping to the word count. Very, very important. The school will tell you the number of word counts they want. This is very, very important. Please make sure you are keeping to that. Some will tell you 500, 700, 750. So just try to make sure you are following the guidelines they are giving for the essays. Thank you.
So what are that? We have quite a number of questions, right? So Samuel Adeyinka is asking, is transcripts a major requirement for admission?
Yes, transcripts is actually very, very important. Like once you are submitting your application to the school, you are submitting your transcripts. Even if it is not the official transcript, they want to see your grades. They want to see how you did. So they want to see, okay, you're telling them you have a CGPA of 3. That you actually got that grade. So transcript is actually a very important part of the application because you'll be submitting it with the application to the university. Although the CSC, the only thing the CSC will be requiring from you is your proof of ID, which is your passport. But for the school, you need your transcripts and your proof of English.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Hajia. Okay, so I still have a couple of questions here that I'm going to be asking. So Mimi is asking, are healthcare courses from Florence Academy Online also valid in building an academic CV?
Yes. So I think I'll categorize what she's saying as the MOOC, right?
Yes.
So the online course you are taking is actually very good, very, very good. Because part of your application, some will even tell you to submit your CV. So some schools that are not even requiring you to submit CV, there will be some space for you to fill in some of those applications, like some of those informations about you. So when you are uploading your CV and they are saying that, okay, you ended your undergraduate degree in so year, what have you been doing to build yourself from that time that you finished your school? So it's actually very good to take those online courses, and it's actually good for your CV.
Okay. So Timmy is asking some questions here, and I'm trying to find out his questions. So let me just mute these guys. There are some people who are unmuted, and I think they're having some distortion. So let me just quickly mute them. Ruth. Okay, done. So I'm having a question here from Timmy. He said, you talked about international passport and national ID card. He said, can national ID card be used in place of international passports?
Okay. This question about national ID card, like there's really so much debate about it. Because when you're trying to submit your application, there's no means verifying your ID card like that, your national ID card or your voter's card or other cards. So it is actually recommended that when you are submitting any application and they're asking you for a proof of ID, the best ID you can submit is your international passport. So it is advisable, instead of any other ID, to submit your international passport.
So what happens to someone who does not have an international passport?
That's why I said the first thing in this journey is getting your passport. Even if you've not started the application material, get your passport. It is actually very, very important. So for someone that has not gotten, I think the application is not open yet. So there's still enough time to get your international passport. But for CSC, I think they still allow you to submit your national ID card. But it is advisable. It is better submitting your international passport.
Okay. Thank you so much. I think that's the bulk of the questions. So guys, we are in the Q&A section of how to apply for Commonwealth scholarship a Commonwealth scholarship. If you have any questions right now, please ask so, because Hajia is here for us and she's here to answer all of our questions. So if you have any questions, it's question time. So Hajia, I have one question for you. What would you say was the major reason that major thing you did that actually helped you to get the Commonwealth scholarship?
Okay, thank you. I think for me, the first thing I'll say did was, I don't know, like, I actually lost hope in that scholarship that year. So it was actually during this time, like during the fasting period, and I was applying for Erasmus, and Erasmus gave me love letter. The 3 Erasmus slots that I submitted actually gave me love letter. So I just heard about the Commonwealth. Like, that was the first time I was hearing about the shared masters. Like, what I actually used to know was the masters, the general masters, which was through the FSB. So immediately my friend mentioned, oh, why don't you apply for CS? I was like, no, that master's scholarship, I don't want. I don't anything that is having to do with FSB. It's actually with long leg, and I don't have a long leg. So I was like, no, I was referring to the shared scholarship. So I think the first thing was, I actually went to the website to read the information. So I read the information, like each tab, I read everything. So, and I submitted 7 applications. And the applications I submitted were to schools that had high number of slots. So the schools I applied to were those that had 7, 5, 10 slots. So like, okay, at least let me have a chance here. So I think I am maximizing your application, like submitting as much as you can actually helps. So I would say in that case, I think that was what God just used to just make me forget that Erasmus memory. So for me, I'll say applying to schools that had high number of slots, like schools that has 10, 7 slots. Try to prioritize your applications to those schools and read the information. Like, it is very, very important. Read the information on the school websites and pray to God to finalize it. I think that was cool. So the scholarship is actually a very good one too. So the list of schools, Chijamz,
Yes,
I did you share the link? I asked you to share that CSC
yeah,
link.
I will share it in the group. I'll share it in the group. I'll share the link
so,
in the group. Yes.
The link has the all information about CSC. So that is where you can get the list of schools. When you go to that website, you see the about us. You go to the shared master scholarship. So you read the tab one after the other. You see the list of schools and the courses they are giving, because the schools are not giving scholarship to all the courses they are offering. There are particular selected courses that I'm giving the scholarship to. So it is when you apply to those particular courses that you'll be considered for the scholarship. So that is where you see the courses and the number of slots for each of them.
All right. Hajia, please, can you tell us about PhD scholarships?
Wow. Can we actually have another session for the PhD? Or okay,
yes, we can. Yes, we can, because that's a lot of information too. Because it's like a different thing.
Very, very, very long.
Okay, guys. So that means we'll be inviting Hajia again to come and talk to us on PhD scholarships. And I know it's going to be very amazing. But before you go, Hajia, before you go, someone says, a little recap on MSc. Clement, don't worry, the video will be posted. You can go through it if you missed out on it. So I have a question here that it's not necessarily about the application, so to say, but it's about the personality. How do you create a career plan that would incorporate scholarships into it?
Okay. So for someone who is yet to graduate from the university, I'll tell you, like, your undergraduate research project is actually very, very, very important. Like, pay more attention to it. It's like one of the chance you have to just build yourself. So most of the times, like when you're trying to apply to some schools, even for PhD, they will tell you what is your research experience. So if you are not actually very you are not participating in that research, you won't have so much to talk about. Like, you won't even understand where to start from. So for someone who is not, even if you are a graduate, try to make sure that you're trying to focus. Don't be so, should I say, when you're trying to be broad, it makes it very difficult for you. But when you're trying to, like, you narrow down what you really want, try to focus more on that part. If you think you want to focus on, like, let me take the biotech for example. Like, there's a very wild, biotech. So try to focus more on a particular aspect. And when you're writing your SOP, you try to like eat more on that part, make it relate to a developmental goal. That's the SDGs. Trust me, even aside the CSC, any other applications, like the SDGs is actually driving so much now. So try to tie your plan towards a particular goal of the SDGs. And the interesting thing is, even the SDGs, even like unknowingly talking about 2-3 goals of the SDGs. So they want to say that, oh, you have a developmental plan. You're not just coming because of the money. Fine, you get the money, but you do the work too. So focus more on your research projects. And if you can take internship, it actually really helps. And volunteers too. It helps a lot.
All right. Okay, Hajia, one final question. Can someone get a scholarship on mathematics?
Of course, I think the person asking that question actually came in late. So that is why I talked about the developmental teams. So regardless of your course of study, you see a particular team that actually relates to your career. So try to go through that website. It might not be mathematics, like they might not say it is MSc in mathematics. It might be a particular part of mathematics that you will understand and it will apply to you. So you check through that and you surely get something related to you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Please help me thank Hajia for tonight's section. It has really been impactful. It has really been insightful. Myself, I've learned a lot from this section. Hajia, thank you so much for being very detailed. Yes, Elijah says, thank you for being very detailed. God bless you. Really good. And we are happy. We are happy that you came to us today. And we are also expecting you again. We are still expecting you to come and talk to us about PhD. Right? Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Hajia. Before you go, do you have one last word for us for tonight?
Okay. I think my last word would be, regardless of how much effort you put, like, just believe that, like, God has a plan for everything. The same essay that I submitted for Erasmus that I did not get was the same essay I submitted to CSC and I got CSC. So it's just God plan for everybody is actually so different. It's very different. So just trust God in your process, and I would say pray like you don't work and work like you don't pray. So that would be my last word. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Hajia. That was amazing. Pray like you don't work and work like you don't pray. God's plan for everyone is different. Oh my goodness, this has been a really, really amazing and insightful section. Thank you so much, Hajia. Thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, this is where we end tonight's section. Miriam has given us an amazing and insightful section. Remember, the goal of these sections are not just for you to come and learn and go and sleep. Go and start preparing. Now, I used to tell you guys that this is the best period for you to prepare for any scholarship at all, because they've not started. So you starting now is you beginning even before they begin. So you have a lot of opportunities and chances for to make a lot of applications. So go to the website. I'm going to drop the link to this website on the group. So go to the website and start making inquiries, start doing your research, start making your applications. And I believe by this time next year, you'll be in another country and you'll be waving at us and, you know, we'll be having a good time. So ladies and gentlemen, so if people are not on the group page, the link is on the group description. Share the link to them. They can join up and then we'll have a good time together. That being said, thank you everyone for being part of tonight's class. I will speak to Hajia for us to organize when she can come and talk to us on PhDs, right? And then we'll have other classes. So for people who are not on the group, just send me a DM on WhatsApp. I can add you from there because I don't have the link right now to add. So just send me a DM, 0092572647 is my number. Send me a DM and then I can add you up from there. Good evening and good night, everyone. Please have a wonderful night rest. I have another section in the next 10 minutes. So good night, guys. Good night, good night, good night, everyone. Bye. Aja, good night, too.